I think currently a lot of teenagers in America, they're facing a few major issues that are including problem gambling, substance abuse issues, educations, and also communication issues with their parents. So for example, substance abuse issues, actually cigarette smoking is very common in US, and even though the legal age is actually about 18 years old, but it's still very accessible. But nowadays, even marijuana, or we call weed, is actually very accessible to a lot of teenagers in America, and the price is very low, and they always seek it as a way for them to look for getting relaxed, and also when they have problem, they don't want to face it. It's a good way to really get them away from all the problematic issues. So substance abuse have been very common actually for teenagers when they especially looking for a downer, so that they could really escape from a problem that they don't know how to resolve, or they have some very negative feelings that they do not know how to really manage. The other problem is problem gambling. Problem gambling has been also quite common. It's not only through like sports betting, but it's actually a lot related to playing cards or playing like mahjong with their friends, with people they might not know, but they meet at the gambling tongs and all that. And they same thing, they use it as a way when they feel very bored and they find excitement there, and they also chasing for the high, and that's why they started to do gamblings in their daily life. And these are actually both substance abuse and problem gambling, very bad habits that, and also very easy to get addicted. So if we know any youth that have such a problem, they might need to seek for professional help. Sometimes by just talking to them might not work, but by actually seeking professional counselors that might help them to really get rid of these kind of bad habits. The other problem is education, especially for new immigrants. When they first come here, they have big language barrier. When they go to school, they have a hard time to catch up. They might be really good in math, excel in like science and all the other subjects, but for English it's very hard. And even for subjects they're familiar with, like math, because they can't comprehend the English, they do not know how to solve the problem. So they face a lot of failure even in education system, that they feel like they're useless, cannot get A's, they always have bad grades, the teacher always complain about them, they do not know how to do homework, and they feel very ashamed to ask for help, and they don't know where to seek help, or there will be free like tutoring service. And it is, I have to say, it is actually very hard for new immigrants to learn a new English language, and it will take them at least 6 months to a year to really fully transition to the system. And if they can't get through the tough time, it's very hard for them to actually get to the mainstream education. The last but not least is the parenting issue. A lot of parents immigrated to America. They have a very hard life. They work very long hours every day. They work like from 8 to 8 every day. And they feel like because they've sacrificed a lot, the kids come here, they're supposed to perform well in school. They don't have time to spend with their kids to like doing family activities or to watch TV, but only concentrate on, since I work so hard, so you better get good grades back. So if they find out their kids are not getting good grade in school, a lot of time that they will start yelling, they start about complaining, start about blaming on these teenagers, and they really don't know what to do. So the teenagers will end up like, I try to explain to you, I try to seek your help, seek your support, but in return, their parents seems to be very frustrated and don't know how to help them. A lot of parents feel very helpless at the same time because they don't know English, they don't know how to communicate with the teachers, they don't understand the United States systems, they don't understand how competitive it is actually to some of the college or university in US, and think that because I sacrifice a lot, our kids, if they can excel in the education, then they will have a better life. But sometimes life is not as what we predicted or what we wish, and so they have to learn how to actually talk to their teenagers and how to actually communicate with them, understand their problem, and be open-minded, and also be encouraged the teenagers to come forward to them when they have problem. And even if the parents do not have answer for all the questions, it's okay, but at least you're willing to listen to all their like negative feelings and to share their like unhappiness, and at least so you feel like you're being there. And if the parents who need help, they can always look for a counselor, like someone from our agency, Community Youth Center, to provide them support, and also maybe do some family mediation or to support the teenagers to go through the education system. So the help is there, and it's also very important for the parents to also seek help with the teenager together. So I think parents play a very major role in the teenager's life. I've been working here at Community Youth Center for the past 18 years, and I've been providing counseling to many youth. A lot of time, if we're just providing counseling to the youth, we might change a little bit, but if we ever actually able to have the parent to come in to sit down with us to work with the teenagers together, you can tell that the change will be a lot much bigger, and the bit difference that we make to the family is also a lot bigger. A lot of time the parents feel like when the teenagers grow older, they're going to be a lot more distance from them. They don't listen to them anymore. Sometimes it's true, it might not show it on the face, but a lot of time from my experience, actually what the parents say and how the parent react to the youth really still make a major difference. The youth still see their parents as someone that could provide them recognitions, could provide them values, and also could really provide them a status. So a lot of time the parents shouldn't give up. They should continue to try to encourage the youth to do positive stuff. When the teenagers have been acting in a bad way, for example, like problem gambling or like substance abuse, they should provide the support, seek professional help, and also be open to the youth to discuss. When we're trying to communicate with our youth, the parents should try the best to listen to the youth needs rather than just themselves keep talking or disciplining or yelling to the kid. Because a lot of time through listening to the kids, you will understand their needs, their problem a lot better, and the youth will also feel like you really care about their feeling, not just because that they will give you shame. A lot of time the youth feel like their parent only care about for their education, their academic, not really how they're feeling, whether they're happy or whatnot. And a lot of, I think, traditional Chinese parents will have a hard time to express their feeling to their kid as well, and that have created a lot of conflicts or difficulty in terms of communicate with the teenagers that they have. The other aspect is that it would be great if the parents were willing to be a role model for their kid. For example, if you're trying to ask your kid not to smoke, you better not be a smoker yourself. Because if you've been a smoker for many years, how are you going to convince your teenager that it's not okay to smoke if yourself have been a smoker for years, right? So a lot of time the parents has to be a good role model for the kid so that your kids can model your good behavior. Because remember, at the same time, your kids will also model your bad behavior. And if the parents is willing to change, a lot of times the teenager will feel like if my parents can do it, I can change too. And that will have a very positive effects on the kids. So don't give up. As a parent, you still play a very major and important role to your kids' life, and they really look up to you, and the parents is always the best teacher in their life.